Welcome, everyone, to the Better Love Movement podcast, where you will finally learn how to intentionally do dating and relationships right. My name is Anita Stoudemire, and I'm a licensed professional therapist and your personal love mentor. I've worked with thousands of singles and couples, giving them the skills needed to attract and keep the amazing love they desire. It's my heart's work to help people to get the skills needed to not only become the very best versions of themselves, but to help them grow and evolve emotionally and relationally. You can absolutely have the romantic relationship of your dreams. Come and let me show you how. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Better Love Movement podcast. My name is Anita Stoudemire, and I am your resident therapist. Here today, it is a Man Crush Month, the month of January. You all know how I do it. I dedicate an entire month of talking with various male influencers, coaches, counselors, men who are in this dating and relationship stratosphere, because we want a man's perspective. So this is the month, ladies, where we sit back, we are quiet, we listen to what the guys are telling us and take notes, okay? So that's what we're doing today. I have the honor of interviewing a male dating coach, success coach, entrepreneur coach. This is episode number 109, and it is entitled, What is Divine Masculinity and How to Spot It? I'm talking with Jay Malik of Jay Malik Coaching. So Jay Malik is a success coach and a spiritual mentor for influencers, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, executives, and public figures. Welcome, Jay.
Having me.
Great. Awesome. So Jay, tell me a little bit about how you got started in the coaching business. What made you want to discuss dating and relationship topics from a man's perspective?
So what got me into coaching initially, my background in business is marketing and sales. So I kind of spurred that into consulting, and then I turned to coaching. And in that space, I found that I coached a lot of women who were the breadwinners, basically. And I'm like, they were having a lot of imbalances in their relationships, and they didn't know why. And as my spiritual background, like teaching and writing on spirituality, I talk about masculine energy and feminine energy a lot. I'm like, why is it that we're not understanding this dynamic, and why aren't these high value, super successful, high performance women finding equal partners? What is it? So I was to start observing the space, observing what is it in men who are equal earners, but maybe mentally they're not receptive to a woman who's high performance or an executive or a business owner. And so breaking those things down really pulled me into the space. It wasn't really intentional. It was kind of just by observation. It was like, okay, this needs to be addressed in this area, because I've seen so many business women in that space have that trouble.
And that's interesting you say that, because that is very aligned with the work that I do. I am a women's coach, and I coach all different types of women from all over the world. But yes, I hear that same thing over and over from women who are, succeeding, whether it be in business or their career, and, are educated, and seem to be a total package, but yet they really struggle when it comes to dating and relationships. So I understand, I get it. I had a few friends who follow you on Facebook. They forwarded to me some of your content. So now I follow you. And so there was a particular post on your page about a man who goes 50-50. Okay, so we talk about this a lot on my platform with his woman, and what that truly says about him. So I'm going to read a little bit of this post, but I would love for you to elaborate on it, okay? You wrote, a man willing to go 50-50 with a woman is a man that doesn't yet have the plan or initiative to be a financial provider. Masculine energy lives by, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If he saw you and wasn't motivated enough to get in position financially, which he should already want for himself, then how motivated will he be when he has open access to your energy? You've rewarded him for mediocrity. You've given a boy the privileges of a man. You've effectively emasculated him. There are so many men walking around with the feminine energy of entitlement who don't know how to hunt and accumulate resources, but they know how to consume resources and make babies. They'll gladly accept your body and everything you have to offer, all while providing 50% or less. So let's talk a little bit about that.
So about my background, look at it. For me, seeing so many high performance women, seeing so many, whether they're executives, whether they're business owners, whether they're authors or influence, whatever it is, and I'm going to use the word settling for 50-50, settling for, okay, we can maybe go have, and I think in our culture, we have so many single parent households, right? That's the narrative of a woman can do it by herself. And men have lost the pride in providing, and they think providing is going half. They think if you have, it's better than you doing it all on your own. But all on your own should have never been on the table, because men should be intentional about creating families, which is why they talks about we can accumulate, we can consume and make babies, but we can't go hunt and make resources for the household. And it goes back to the ideology of, why do we have so many single parent households? And men have to be more intentional about, am I more interested in sex than I am with success? And a lot of men have that trouble with, splitting that line. Like, why are you more interested? And this usually like a spiritual wound. There's no healing there. Like, you seeking out sex for gratification or a void you have within you, when you should be pursuing your higher self. So when you do pursue a woman, when you do approach a woman, you're pursuing her with the best intentions of providing, and you understand that. And some men took offense to it because they're like, okay, if she lives with me, she's gonna be paying half the bills. And there are women who are like, well, I don't need a man to take care of me, so we can go half. So it's just like an ideology change. I don't know. It's a huge cultural thing, I think, especially in our communities.
Okay. That's interesting you say that, because on the flip side, I believe women are settling for sex. They want a deeper connection. They want a deeper partnership from a man, but yet they'll settle for his sex, thinking that that's some sort of intimacy they share, and it's not. So my hashtag on Instagram is hashtag no free sex. I actually have that on a t-shirt that my ladies wear. And I love wearing that t-shirt because I always get approached by men whenever I'm out and I have it on, because they want to know how much the sex costs. And I tell them the same answer. The sex will cost your time. It will cost your love. It will cost your heart. It will cost your exclusivity and your commitment. That's what the sex costs. So anyway, but yes, I 100% get it. And it's exciting to me that I'm interviewing more and more men, younger men, who kind of get it. Like, they're encouraging men to be on their purpose. They're encouraging men to seek something higher.
I mean, for me, I can look back in my own life and see where I wasn't focused on success. I wasn't focused on doing the things that will, fulfill me just as an individual. We can seek out women as consumption. Like, so, and that's a big part of our culture is women are commoditized just like cars, clothes, and jewelry. So when we have that ideology about women and we think of them as a commodity versus a partner that's going to multiply our success, going to it the right way. And I see so many men who just go off track first. And now I think the biggest thing is just trying to teach, success is something that should be taught. We don't think about success in that way in our communities a lot of the times. And I think getting this framework, like a man has to go seek out success, because we have Black women overachieving, out
Right.
of and when it comes to education, when it comes to business ownership, there's a lot of women who are striving because they have to. And if we can balance that out with men who are also striving and not creating liabilities and deficits in households, the community is going to rise to another level. And that's the biggest mission for me, is like spiritually, let's align our community so we can grow and we can expand into what our true identity really is.
Right, right. And we saw this in the, 30s, 40s, 50s. We saw Black households where marriage, the marriage percentage was higher, So we saw this. We saw where Black families wanted to strive, and the man and the woman come together. And I always say that too, that two is better than one. We're going to go farther when we partner with people. And we saw that then we're now having this like gap where marriage is seen as, oh, it's a detriment to everybody. Why do it? It's sad to me. Like we had this kind of this gender war last year. It really it hit a head last year where the men were coming for the women. The women were saying the men were trash. Like it was horrible. It grieved my heart because I'm like, we need each other. We need each other. And here's the bottom line: we want each other. Like, let's stop playing all these games. Y'all want us, and we want y'all. So we just, we need to get on the same page here because we're not going to leave each other alone. I'd rather we come together and do it right.
I think I talked to somebody about this yesterday about how important media is and narratives are to shifting like consciousness. And you look at music and film always kind of tell the story, and like art when it comes to like painting and things like that. But you look at the music and film of a time, you can kind of tell where the consciousness of a people are. If you look at the music that was being created in the 40s and 50s and 60s, it's not the same thing that's being created now. And it's almost like the media now is promoting anti-family, promoting toxic behaviors. So it's like when you're young, you're impressionable and you listen to this music, where before you listen to the Temptations or Marvin Gaye, you were getting a different kind of energy. And now you're getting, cheat on this one, abuse this one. It's so toxic. And I try to get men to realize, like, yo, look at who's owning these corporations. Look who is controlling the people you think are the influencers. Who's paying those people? Because they're paying them to continue a narrative for a reason. And if we state of our communities, it's clear as day why.
Right.
If we can understand why we're seeing these things, we can say, okay, that's not for us. That's trying to tear us down. Let's go an opposite direction and promote, like I said, love. We need each other. We need unity. We need love. And we have to, as men especially, take the mantle of accountability and say, it starts with us, because we've seen throughout history, Black women, promote what is needed for the household for them to feel uplifted and supported. And that's going to, make some forward progress, but it's up to men to really support the vision. And that's the masculine energy's role, is to support the feminine. A lot of men have to understand that, like, our role is to support the woman and her vision, her ideas, her creativity, her intuition. She sees something, she's connected to divine energy in a different way than we are. So we have to trust and understand that what she wants is going to be better for the community. And we can't go to war with her if she sees something better.
Right.
That's just goes with accountability for a man and self-mastery, saying, she wants this to be better. I should also want that for myself, right? Attack. And I think, we all have egos, right? And sometimes you can feel like you're under attack. And I understand sometimes the language can feel like you're being pressured, or if you're not used to having that pressure. Maybe I didn't have my father in the household, so my first time dealing with male accountability at a high level, it was foreign. It was, okay, why is this man trying to put this pressure on me to elevate? And it can feel like belittling if you don't receive it the right way. And so I was trying to tell men to be open, be receptive because maybe you didn't have the best male role models. And we have to start admitting some of the things that we do that aren't beneficial. Like, okay, this person was in my life and he was a male, but he wasn't the best role model. So I learned things from him that may not be the best. This person is in a position that I want to be in, and they're saying, I got to step it up. Maybe I should just be more open to hearing that. Maybe I got to step it up. And, when we start doing that in our community, we're going to have more success, more connection, more unity, more love, because it all starts with us. We're the foundation.
Right. Agreed. Agreed. I'm in 100% agreement. That leads us right into our discussion on what is divine masculinity? What does it look like? How would a woman know that a man is walking in his divine masculine?
That's a great question. First, I would say you have to be a spiritually in tune woman, right? Regardless of your religious beliefs, you have to be in tune with something outside of yourself, and also in tune with how your energy and your body reacts to it, nature, etc. Understand energy at a certain way. Women are usually just more intuitive in nature. They still kind of already get that, right? I think a big part of the discernment for women is, recognizing what a man has built, as in what has the tree given fruit versus if it has potential to bear fruit, right? Because divine masculinity is all about manifestation. It's all about creating something in the highest image of my potential. And we will never become the perfect person who has no flaws, but it's something we should strive for as men, to become better and better and better and better and better, to support a vision from the feminine that is always expanding outward. So we both working together to create new visions, but a man has to master that for himself. And so you're, as a woman, you're looking at the male and seeing what is he created. What, and if you see something that is in a high esteem and you think it matches your vision, now you can come together in synergy. But like you said, a lot of people come together, it's for lust, it's for greed, it's for trauma. And so there's a lot of healing that has to go on for the man and the woman on your individual path. You have to come to, the table with a certain level of healing done, right? Like, we always have healing work to do as we keep expanding, but there are certain traumas and pains that have to be cleared, right? Before you can kind of mesh in a healthy way, because we can bond over trauma,
Right.
bond over hardships, and they call that struggle love, right? And we're gonna get it figured out together. It's like, why don't you figure it out on your own? And then if you still compatible with me once we not struggling, I feel better connecting with you from a place of strength. And that also goes back to cultural, because we have a cultural identity that's centered around struggle and trauma. So it's normalized to just deal with it, right? It's part of life. Just, we're going through trauma, but your divine masculine energy, the partner who has divine masculine energy is going to be pushing the needle on his potential, and you're going to be able to see that. And he's here to support the feminine who aligns with his vision. And that goes to men as well. You have to understand that every woman you see is not the woman who's going to multiply your vision. Yep. And every you connect with to multiply your vision is not your romantic partner. And so we have to have discernment. And again, that's the sexual urge is a lower vibration, right? We all animals can just go mate, right? Animal like frequency that we just are drawn to people for sex, when we should be drawn to people for what we can build and accumulate for resources for ourselves, our family, and ultimately our community and society. And so that's just, you can tell just by observing a man over time. What is he producing actually? Is he more than he's producing? Because we talked about this yesterday on a live stream about there are some men, you'll see them consume things. They'll go buy the car, They'll go buy the jewelry, they'll go buy this or that to appear as if they're producing, and they may be in financial deficit because of those items.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're in a situation where now y'all in a bind because, oh, you got this bill, you got this debt, this debt. So it's like, I look at masculinity and production from different levels. One first being spiritual, emotional, mental. So having your mind right, having a positive outlook, having those emotional wounds kind of, maybe you're not fully healed, because some things you're going to need healing from your whole life. Some things are so traumatic, you're going to need counsel and guidance your whole life. But as long as you were tending to those pains in a healthy way, then that's great. And then you have spiritual, emotional, mental. Now you have to take care of your material needs, your financial literacy, your income, your savings, your investments. Once you're there, then I think you're at a place where you can start looking for a partner, right? And a lot of times we don't do that. And women, like I said, we naturally attract each other.
Right.
So I see his vision. He got potential. We can work together to make it happen. And it's not likely to happen. That's not very probable. It's a rare occurrence that happens, right? We don't hear any, oh, she met him and he was doing this, and then all of a sudden he took off. Usually he's already going in that direction and you met him on the way there, right? He don't have to be a millionaire to be married, but he should be able to be self-sufficient and not just survival efficient, but he's thriving in his own right. He has a surplus. He's in a good space. You want to find a man in a good space, and to do that, as a woman, make sure you're in a good space so you recognize the energy. If you're struggling, you got to do that work on yourself to make sure I get into a better space. So I know what struggle looks like. Okay, that's struggle, or they're a little bit behind on this. And maybe you meet somebody who they're not financially literate and maybe they need information in that area. We can always help each other build, but you have to just know where you are, where they are, and what you're willing to accept as a woman. So
yeah, standards. We talk a lot on this platform about standards, because a lot of women will say to me, so ladies, I'm just going to share this is my number one way to know that a man is in his divine masculine, or at least, wants to be: personal growth. He must be obsessed with being better. And honestly, that's something I can figure out on the first date. Like the first date, there's certain questions that I've asked my ladies. You're going to ask these questions, and if they don't go well, you're done. Like, we're done. Okay. But personal growth. What books are you reading? What podcasts are you listening to? What's something you're really excited about? What's a passion or purpose of yours? That's it. You ask those questions and you get, I don't know. I mean, I don't listen to podcasts. I don't know what last book. I don't read. You get any of that and we're done. It's not hard, but it's a man who's obsessed with personal growth. We should all want to be our best self. That's what Maslow taught us, is that self-actualization. We want to be our highest self. So that's my 2 cents, okay? But to me, it isn't that hard. It's just, like you said, if you're on your own journey, you'll energetically start to attract people who are also on their journey. So that's really, really important, ladies. Any other thoughts you can give to our ladies in terms of, like you said, they want to connect with someone who's kind of going in the same direction, and a truly healthy masculine man that wants to partner but doesn't want to, like you said, just do this 50-50 thing or just survive, who wants to actually thrive?
Oh man, probably a big thing I would say is, not only you're not settling, we have our standards high, we're making sure he's on his personal growth journey, but energetically, because it's so, the odds are against us, right? When it comes to, the higher you rise, the less people there are, right? That's just the odds. It's very easy energetically to attract what you don't want if you're not being careful. right? And so a lot of women are, oh, men aren't doing this, men aren't doing that. And it's like you're speaking those things into existence. And it's almost like you're telling on yourself. I always look at men sometimes and how they talk about women. I know what kind of person they are because I know what kind of women they attract based on their vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if I see a woman who's, saying, oh, men never do this, it lets me know that she's not around the men who do those things that she doesn't see. And so we have to understand law of attraction. I need to speak life into what I want to create. And so you have to not only declare what you want, but you have to speak life into it being abundantly present, right? It's abundantly clear that there are men who provide and men who want a woman, not as a commodity, but as a partner. And they want to grow and love and connect and provide and uplift and support. Get to a space where energetically and mentally and spiritually, it feels abundant. Like, you'll walk out today, you'll find a man who has provision on his mind, who's intentional. And it becomes that much more clear, right? It becomes that much more easy. And don't give, women are multipliers. So what you think multiply. When you say, oh, men are trash, you're gonna find more trash men. It's like you attract it. It attracts. So you have to get, your energy can also repel, right? When you talk about providing and men who are supporting, and you're gonna attract or repel the ones who don't want, like, I don't want to do all that. Like, I'm not talking to her because she expects me to do this, versus calling them trash. That's like their dog whistle. Like, they're like, ooh, let me entertain this, because they're in a space where they want to entertain the toxic energy, and they want to, go back and forth. But just speak life into what you really want to see. And even beyond romances, you want to have high value men who are your friends. You want to have people start speaking life beyond, like, it's abundant. It's abundant. Like, I have so many women who are amazing friends, amazing business partners, or we just associates, and it's abundant. So it's like, okay, this is just seek beyond even just romance. Like, just have an amazing group of men that and I think it trickles down from there, because it's so abundant. I can't say anything else other than that. Like, it's ever flowing abundance.
Right. Okay. I'm here for it. I agree with everything you said. But this is good that my ladies are hearing it from a male's perspectives. And I am going to talk about this more and more this year, that we've got to listen. Ladies have got to start listening more. We've really got to give men a platform. A lot of ladies will say they don't really listen to guys because they don't either like what they're saying, but you know what? We got to learn them. We got to listen to them. So that's why I do this every year, the month of January. I only interview males and their men and their platforms and their perspective, because I want women to learn men and understand them and accept them. So I hope you ladies are listening today. This has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. I just want to say thank you to Jay Malik for being on the show today. Is there a product or a service that you'd like to tell the listeners more about?
If you're interested in spiritual development and how that transcends into self-mastery and financial development, I have a bundle on my website, www.jmalikteachings.com, Jay Malik Teachings. There's a success bundle, or $100 you can get all 4 books. And I love gifting it to your nephew or your little cousin. I'm really big on trying to get the youth in personal growth. And like I said, that is the key to all of it. We have to be obsessed with becoming better. And those 4 books are pretty much, I would say, I stand behind it so strong, because it's like the foundation for my life. Like, it's like my blueprint for life, how I elevated from 0 to, just growing, 0 to 100. How do you start moving forward spiritually, emotionally, mentally? Because it depends on where you are. Some people are just, we're trying to figure out the finances. Somebody's there, they're trying to figure out the emotions. But JayMalikTeachers.com has a lot of my books. If you need anything else, just feel free to reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram.
Okay, so tell us where people can connect with you.
So my Instagram is at Jay Malik Coaching, and my Facebook is Jay Malik, and I'm pretty much on those two platforms mostly. Okay. So you can catch me there anytime. Just shoot me, a comment or a message or something like that. So.
Okay, thank you so much. So I would love it if you all would connect with Jay on Facebook, on Instagram. You know how we do it. We want to support folks who come onto the show. We want to go over there and follow them and get their content and interact with them and just learn. Like, that's what this whole thing is about, learning about. I love having different folks on the show because I learn from different people and their different perspectives. And I now follow, every guest I have on the show, and I comment on all of their content, and I learn so much. So I want you all to do that as well. Ladies, and for the few gentlemen that listen to the show, thank you so much for joining us today. I so appreciate you supporting the platform. If you are watching this on YouTube, I want you to subscribe to the channel and like this video and click that bell icon so that you can be alerted when new podcast episodes come out. If you have a question or a comment for me, you can email it to me at info@betterlovemovement.com. Thank you again, Jay, for joining me today. Ladies, as always, stay open to love.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. If you are enjoying this podcast, please leave me a 5-star rating and review. Your ratings and reviews help me to continue to bring you more great content. Head on over to YouTube and check out the Better Love Movement channel. There's more video content there, and you can subscribe to be notified when a new video is posted. If you have a question that you would like to have answered on the podcast or in a YouTube video, please send it to me at info@betterlovemovement.com. You can also connect with me directly on the Magnify app to have your dating and relationship questions answered. That's MAGNIFI, and it's available on iOS and Android. You get your first 5 minutes for free. So give me a call and let's chat.